This is completely perched in reality. One of those guys doesn't play an awesome game between here and Steph Curry's recovery. The Warriors are in an awful lot of trouble. So watch Anthony Edwards absolutely cook the out of whoever is in front of him from here on out. Here's the thing. Right now, here is the Warriors' offense. 1, Steph Curry being Curry. 2, Jimmy Butler fourth quarter free throws. 3, Buddy Hield is feeling it. 4, Draymond catching dudes sleeping. That's it. That's all they got. If you're telling me Buddy Hield never lets off the gas pedal and is 30 a night from here on out, yeah, great things can happen. There's no doubt about that. I'm not really confident that that's going to happen, but Buddy, man, he has shown up in this postseason in ways that has been phenomenal. Love you, Buddy Hield. We'll get into you in just a second. Jimmy Butler's got to be more than fourth quarter free throws. He's got to be a huge presence. Jimmy does not like taking contested layups. He shouldn't be making fun of Buddy Hield's layups at all right now because Jimmy smokes as many layups as coffee he served in the bubble. Draymond catching dudes sleeping has been a level of offense I didn't even think he was capable of at this point in time. Draymond is having one of the best seasons of his entire career. And of course, in the midst of one of the great playoff runs of his career, a defensive mastermind, and he is just in charge of so much of what's going on offensively. Of course, it's all wrapped around him almost totally losing his shit and losing his control. Draymond really is best when he's on the edge. He really is. And sometimes you get falling off the edge in a bad way, Draymond, and sometimes you get what you got last night in Draymond. He was awesome. One of those guys, Jimmy Butler, Buddy Hield, or Draymond, doesn't play an awesome game between here and Steph Curry's recovery. The Warriors are in an awful lot of trouble. They need Moody. They need Pajemski. They need GP2 or Kuminga or someone else. Pat Spencer. By the way, forget about strength in numbers. Strength in Spencer's. I mean, let's go. But you see what a disaster he is offensively, too. He's just a defensive presence. He's an on-court agitator. He's not going to give you much.
But here's the thing, Damon. A lot of this is doom and gloom, and I get it to a large degree.
Doom and gloom. This isn't doom and gloom. This is completely perched in reality.
Well, okay, fine. But if you're going to go realistic here, look at the other side of this. Do not pretend that Minnesota has a multitude of weapons to choose from. They've got Anthony Edwards. They've got Naz Reid, who shoots threes and has no post-up game whatsoever.
Kills the Warriors.
And that's it.
Warriors.
And that's it. So here's the thing. People like, for example, Fozzie in your chat asked, like, why does Cy hate Steve Kerr so much? I don't hate him. I have no personal emotion against him. Sometimes I get riled up when he benches players, especially young players who are deserving of opportunities and minutes. But ultimately, that's why I have distaste for him. He's brilliant and masterful as a coach in terms of schematics, ATOs, a system that has won 4 championships. I've never once criticized that part of his game. It's the personnel. It's who he goes with on a routine basis, the combinations, the matchups. I think he's very flawed there. With all that said, I need to finish this point. I actually think Steve Kerr now is going to play a huge part in the Warriors winning this series because, as I've said before and I'll say again, the system is awesome. And the system thrives when you suddenly have a team that does not have your one that carries the load, that you abandon when all else fails. And what I mean by that is Stephen Curry is the guy you just kind of sit back and watch often offensively, and you just let him cook for good reason. When Steph is out, suddenly you're seeing the system go to play. And you do have pieces here that can make
guys who are hesitant to shoot will automatically be less hesitant. But Pajemski's double clutching everything for 3 games in a row now, and I don't really know why. And Moses Moody isn't letting it fly without looking over his shoulder.
He needs to improve. He needs to improve the shooting, but the physicality he brings, the physicality Kuminga brings, the GP2, Pat Spencer. The Warriors are a very physical team. And what I've been saying before, and I'll say again, they have possibly, this might sound like a bold statement, but I think it's very real and true. They have the best defense in the NBA right now. And that's a crazy statement to make given they lack ball handlers. But when you look at them 1 through 5 consistently in terms of the lineups they put out there, No one can switch better than them, and that means Minnesota is not going to find weaknesses with mismatches. They're going to have to earn their points. What I saw in game one, Damon, and why I feel encouraged despite Steph Curry being injured, is that the Warriors saw a Minnesota team who pales in comparison to Houston in terms of size and physicality. They saw a team that is nothing compared to what Houston was bringing in terms of imposing their will in the interior. The Warriors can match up physically with this Rockets team. With this Timberwolves team, sorry. Rudy Gobert does not instill fear in anyone with the Warriors, and they attack him. Draymond does not sit in the post hanging out there, which is a disadvantage to Rudy Gobert because now he has to venture out into the perimeter where he's not worthy of a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. I'm not sitting here pretending that Stephen Curry's injury isn't massive, but what I am saying is that the Warriors have faced moments like these before, and this is where Steve Kerr, I'm going to give him his flowers. The system is brilliant, and I think we're going to see, we might see something similar to 2018, where in the Western Conference Finals, was it 2019? I'm sorry. In the Western Conference Finals, where Kevin Durant was out, right? He had the calf injury. We didn't see him again until game 5 of those NBA Finals. And a lot of people were just completely ruling out the Warriors against the Trailblazers in that Western Conference Finals series. Everyone thought Dame Lillard and what's his name who's in with New Orleans now, his backcourt mate.
Grant?
Who? No, not Jamie Grant.
Jamie Grant version?
No, the guy who runs the players union now, the shooting guard with New Orleans. He has a big deal. He was someone in the chat's going to let me know so I can miss CJ McCollum. Thank you very much.
There you go.
This was the Dame Lillard CJ McCollum era that everyone thought was going to emerge, and the Warriors were like, no, just sit the F down. We're not going anywhere. This system is brilliant. I've never once criticized that. It's the personnel choices.
You have criticized this. I don't want to get into us arguing over Steve Kerr and being consistent here, but if you think the system is brilliant, you can't be that angry for not playing Kuminga because Kuminga fits the system terribly.
I don't agree with that. I think I don't agree with that. I just think Kerr has
the guy who runs the system is told you implicitly through these minutes. I don't know if it didn't fit, but that was one of the situations where I can't play everybody. Like I've got every single person here is an all-star.
Jason Tatum can be 1 through 5, and he was losing out minutes to Derek White.
Because he was losing out the system better. Derek White wasn't looking to create one-on-one.
And again, we're going to have to agree to disagree that Jason Tatum couldn't have fit perfectly fine in that. Steve Kerr is kooky with his matchups sometimes. I've never, you could look at all the tape you want. I don't rip the system. I do rip the personnel decisions.
By the way, they won that gold medal.
They did. You're right, barely. But you're gonna pretend Stephen Curry didn't bail Kerr out in that semifinal game?
Well, what are you angry at? Steph Curry hitting shots?
No, I'm upset that Steve Kerr oftentimes makes personnel decisions that put his team at a disadvantage, and Stephen Curry bails him out time and time and again to make up for these poor decisions. That's what I'm saying. If you disagree with that, you're entitled to. I do. There are times where Steve Kerr makes poor personnel decisions. It's why he's never developed talent, because he treats every rookie like a role player. You can't treat them like that if you want them to develop. They need consistent runs.
Also 5-1 in elimination games on the road. So, he pulls the trigger correctly when it matters the most.
When you have Stephen Curry in your team, it helps.
Going to have to really cobble the best efforts out of Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green and Buddy Hield together to go on and keep on keeping up in this series. The one thing that I will agree with you on is this level of defense. I did not think they were going to be capable of it. I thought that they would have one-off moments where, man, the defense really was locked in tonight and they shut that shit down. It is now happened, over the course of 2 series, basically. In the games that the Warriors have won in the playoffs, opponents are being held to an average of 92.2 points per game.
The Warriors, though, they held Minnesota to 31 first half points. And more importantly, ever since the Warriors got Jimmy Butler, they have the number 1 rated defense in the entire NBA. Number 1. And that's a 2-month sample size, brother. More than that. This Warriors defense is real. And everyone wants, and I said this last night, everyone wants to give the Rockets or wants to criticize the Rockets for having a bad offense. And I'm not saying they have a good offense, but what I am saying is give the Warriors defense some credit for what they did to Houston in that series. And look at the Warriors defense when you're analyzing this series moving forward. The Warriors have an elite defense. That defense might be even better with Steph and Curry out. Crazy, but possibly true. And where they're going to miss points, and they're going to miss some. It's going to more than be made up for, I think, with the defense. And they have enough talent, I think, to put up enough points to survive Chris Finch and the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I think that Finch last night lit an absolute rocket under Anthony Edwards. I'm telling you, he's going to come out and take 20 shots before halftime.
You're right.
In game 2. He is going to come out and show everybody, I'm the youngest, baddest man on this basketball court, and I am not going to wait for this game to come to me. I've just been told by my coach in a press conference in public, if you think you're the man, go play like it. So watch Anthony Edwards absolutely cook the out of whoever is in front of him from here on out. Thanks for watching. Tune into the Damon Bruce Show live on YouTube every weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific.